Man, some days I start work and feel absolutely empty. Like I'm not even frustrated. I'll just open up my laptop and feel super dull and just like this autopilot feeling. Sort of just like alright, let's get this over with type of thing instead of actually caring about what I'm about to do. And it's super interesting because I don't hate working. If anything, I sort of like being productive. I like making things, creating things. But I don't know, man, just lately work just feels so meaningless. It's sort of just a loop of tasks that don't matter beyond my paycheck. And depressing isn't the right word, but that's when it sort of just starts dragging a little bit. And I know I'm not the only one feeling this. I feel like more than ever, I'm seeing people wake up to the fact that modern day work is broken. You know, we've been sold this idea that if you put in the hours, climb the ladder, and make good money, you'll feel super fulfilled. But like the older I get, the more I know that that's just not true anymore. Because the thing is, it's not that I don't want to work. I just don't want to spend the rest of my life doing things that just feel empty with no purpose. It's so sad that so many of us are just stuck in this cycle of meaningless work. And I hate how corny it sounds, but it almost seems like a system that is designed to keep us in it without ever breaking free. Like it just feels super hard to break out of it. One of the things I've actually noticed about modern work is just how like fake everything is, how fake productivity is. There's a real difference between working and just looking busy. Like in a corporate job, in my corporate job, half the workday is filled with pointless meetings, emails, all that sort of stuff. And sometimes it feels like that stuff just exists to make it seem like something's happening. But if you actually step back and look at it, most of it is fluff. And if you're in a creative field like me, it sucks because it takes away the art from what you're creating. Like for instance, as a video editor, I don't make films or shows or music videos that mean something. I make advertisements. And when you boil it down, all I'm doing is making big companies more money. It's not like I'm a nurse or a tradie or anything like that where I'm helping build something important and getting some money on the side. It really feels like I'm building nothing important at all. If anything, I'm sort of building something evil. Like for instance, I'd make an ad for like a random hair product, and on the surface, it's just another ad. But then later down the line, I would hear that models who used it started losing their hair a few weeks later. And guess what? It doesn't matter at all. I still had to make that ad. In turn, selling this dodgy product to unsuspecting customers. And it really just plays on my morals. And it's just something that I definitely don't want to do forever. Because like I was saying, it's nothing meaningful. All it's doing is circulating money. I'm getting paid to make someone else money. I'm not actually building anything of value. And I feel like that's so many jobs right now. Like a lot of them aren't creating value, not really helping people, just like the illusion of making things look valuable. So someone with a lot of money can make even more money off that. And before you warriors come in the comments saying, this is life, bro, you just got to grow up and start working, you're completely missing the point. I totally get we need to work, but it's super odd that no one questions it, or at least questions what type of work everyone is doing. And even further, like who we are working for. Most of the people we are working for don't even see us as humans. They see us as a tool to generate profit. Like it's so insane to me we're all born into this system where our default purpose is to work, not to enjoy life, not to explore, not to create, but just work. And to be honest, even school has set you up with this idea that your worth is tied to your productivity, that if you're not working or grinding or studying, if you're not adding, quote, value, you're wasting your time. But again, if you really go deeper on who you're adding value to, most likely it's the 1%, the people that already have so much money that they don't know what to do with it. And I hate that I sort of sound like Matrix conspiracy mode here, but it's so obvious when you step back and look at it. Everything in society is designed to keep you working. Housing is expensive, education's expensive, and it literally puts you in debt for years. The cost of living is going up and it's showing no sign of stopping, especially in Australia. And some would say the reason for that is so you have no choice but to work. And again, I'm going to wrap it back around, not just any work that benefits people at the top. Like society wasn't built on meaning or creativity or art. The society we live in right now is built on keeping a machine running. And everyone sort of feels disposable. Like if you quit a job or anything like that, you will be replaced. I'm not even joking, in a matter of a week. And to me, the most weirdest, scariest part is how normal this is. Nobody ever questioned it, but it really is because we were born into this system. It's just what it is. Like, does a fish in water even realize it's wet? You know what I mean? And one of the biggest reasons we feel so disconnected from our jobs is because most of us never get to see the impact of what we do. Like for instance, if you're a carpenter, you built a table, you built a house, you could literally see someone using it. If you're a farmer, you grew the food that fed people. But now it really just feels like we've got a bunch of nothing jobs. And it's super interesting because it feels like the people that have the most empty, hollow jobs get paid the most, and I just don't get how that makes sense. As a video editor, I can spend hours making an ad look perfect, tweaking the colors, making sure every single cut is smooth, and then the ad plays for 5 seconds and then someone skips it, or they scroll right past it. And that's kind of modern work in a nutshell. We spend so much time on things that are forgotten in an instant, and it makes it really hard to feel like anything we do actually matters. And the worst part is they sort of dangle this idea of success in front of you. Like if you just work hard enough, you'll finally be happy. But I know some people who are making 6 figures who are absolutely miserable. And now 6 figures in today's day and age isn't crazy, but it definitely is realistically a large sum of money. And I think a lot of people, especially young dudes, will lie to themselves and telling themselves that money fills the void. But I don't know, man, money just feels like sort of a band-aid. Like, do you ever wonder why so many rich people still work insane hours or have the alcohol problems and all that sort of stuff? It's because their whole identity is wrapped up in work, and when you take away work, they don't really know who they are without it. And that is not something that I want to fall into. And that's kind of what the higher ups want for all of us. They want us to think that work is life, or that it's the only thing that gives us purpose. Because the second people stop believing in that, the whole system starts to crumble. And yeah, obviously we're always going to have bills to pay and stuff like that. But if you can find a means to just live on the least amount you can, that sounds just as good as sweating at a job for ages to have a little extra dosh at the end of the day. Like, I'm really not a lazy person. I put a lot of work into the things that fulfill me, whether that be this YouTube channel or my clothing brand. But man, when I start my work day, I just hate it and I just want the day to end. But for instance, if I open up my laptop at 10 p.m. to work on a YouTube video, I will not hate it at all. And I can work until 4 a.m. with no questions. In fact, I want to keep working. And it's super interesting seeing the new generation coming up. The generation where the boomers will say they don't want to work or this and that. But like, they're finally tapping into like their human side. I don't know if that makes sense, because at the end of the day, man, humans aren't really supposed to work like this. Like, of course, we have to fill our time with something or we will go crazy, but filling it with meetings, stupid emails, talking to your coworkers that you don't really care too much about, it's kind of a crazy concept, and a lot of people don't question it. Like, realistically, if I didn't have aspirations of owning a home or starting a family, I think I genuinely could just live in my car and just make YouTube videos. Like, that does not sound like a bad life at all. And that's the thing, man. You just got to find what you want to work towards. For me right now, it's YouTube and my clothing. For me a couple years ago, it was beats. For me, even years before that, it was trying to join COD clans and editing montages. So I don't know. I really urge people, if they do have something they're passionate about, to really just like focus on it. Because your 9-to-5 job, your work does not define you, and it sucks that you've sort of been brought up to think this way. Now, I could talk about this forever, but I'm not going to. I appreciate everyone for listening to this, especially if you're this far into the video. As always, all my links are down below, that being my Instagrams, my clothing brand website, my streaming platforms, and yeah, man, that's it from me. It's been Once Faded. Peace.